So here's a little ditty I did on changing strings because I had a whole bunch to do from the weekend. Put all your pedals in flat, loosen them, cut them, then remove. Why? Because you don't want to get the twisted parts that were in the tuning pins. You don't want to yank those through the soundboard holes and mess them up. Then I get my string ends ready by cutting them into 1-inch increments. I usually use old strings like 4th and 5th octaves. And cut them into 1-inch increments. I used to call them studs. So when I called the Harp store, she kind of giggled at me and said, honey, they're called string ends, but was sweet enough to send me studs anyway. The loops. So there's a million different ways to do these. Gorgeous, amazing. I wish I could do them. I fail at all. But here's how I do mine. And it kind of represents the ones that are on the back side of the packaging. So and I even fail at this too. I have to redo them sometimes. So loop 1 goes over. You take the short end and you go over to create loop 1, and then you take the other end and you go loop under. So over and then under, and there you've got your cute little rabbit ears. So over and then under, and then you're going to continue to twist loop 2 and lasso it over loop 1. There you go. And we're definitely not here for the manicure that never happened. We're here for the strings. And then once you lasso it, I have it in slow-mo. There it is. Yay. You want to kind of give it a little bit of a tug. It's going to happen, I promise. Just to kind of tighten it just a little bit. But not so much that because you still have to get your string end in. String end, here it is. We're going to insert it and find that one spot between loop 2 and loop 1. And this is where I always fail because sometimes I manage to not do it correctly, and then the loops come unraveled and come undone. So anyway, so you find that happy spot, put it in, and then when you want to tighten the string by pulling the string straight, so that you don't compromise the string by, creating unnecessary bends or little, cricks in it. String ends are parallel to each other. In the next frame, you'll see that right now my F string stud is over. You can also slide it so it goes under. But as long as they're parallel and they're in their happy spots, you should be fine. Putting it through the harp. So multitasking, starting with threading it through the soundboard from underneath. So make sure your pedals are in flat and that your tuning pin holes are facing north and south, up and down, 0 and 180. Keeping that string straight, you're going to keep pulling. Lower part is going to go on the action, but here we're going to thread it first underneath the pin and behind the string. And there is a method to this madness. Someone showed this to me years and years ago, and I'm forever grateful because it is brilliant. And I think everybody else has been doing it, and I'm just clueless again. So multitasking, I'm keeping the lower part on the action because there's nothing worse than getting it all done and then the string is not on the action. So here we are pulling it before creating that official bend under the pin and behind the string and on the action and straight. So all those things to keep in mind while doing this part. So then you're pulling the string end towards you, and there's a reason why, and here's where the official bend starts. And then you start tightening the pin, and then as you're doing that, you're going to pull it because that string end is going to naturally be held secure by the rest of the strings. Push the string back as you continue to rotate the pin or tighten the pin so that the strings spool towards the harp and not away from the harp. So you keep going towards the harp. And then when it comes, there you go. And then we're going to start cutting it. We're going to cut it usually right above the tuning pin so that it's not too long that it messes up your covers or too short that it slips away. In tuning, I tune to 441, and then that way it's a happy medium with the amount of pedaling and playing that I do. But happy changing strings and tuning. Ciao.